Hi guys, how are you today? It's Mo here. I thought I would do a spur of the moment video on my discussion section. What's going on with my hair here? My bangs are getting too long. Oh well, I'll have to cut them eventually. Yeah, so back to the point of this video. I can't believe I just got off topic on this video so easily, but you know how we do. So it's Mo. I wanted to do a spur of the moment video. It isn't the last quarter of the moon. It isn't the first quarter of the moon. It isn't the full moon, and it isn't the new moon. But I thought I would give you guys something to watch, something special to watch. So today the topic is going to be money, and I'm going to do something a little different where I'm going to show you 3 decks of cards, and you pick the deck that you feel most attracted to, and I will pick a few cards from each of the decks, one deck at a time, and give you a little bit of an update about the energy surrounding you in regards to money. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So let's go straight to showing you what the decks look like, and you can go ahead and pick from there. So guys, these are the decks that you will be able to choose from. So the first deck is the Seers Tarot. The second deck is the Liber-T Tarot de las Estrellas Eternas. And that's also Tarot of Stars Eternal. So that's the Liber-T Tarot. And the last deck that I have is the Haindl Tarot. So you can pick one of the 3 decks. And before I do the readings, I will tell you which deck I'm reading from. And so you can either go down to the timestamps below, or you can watch the whole video. It's up to you. See you soon. All right, guys. So who isn't interested in finding out about money? So I'm even interested in finding out about money. I'm wearing my gypsy money. Sorry if gypsy is kind of derogative, but to me this is like a gypsies. And I think of gypsies as beautiful, free people. So I don't mean that in any derogatory term. But I actually found this. Somebody was giving this away. So it's got like coins on it, and I've got my penny earrings. So guys, I'm ready to talk about your money situation. So this is the back of the Seers Tarot cards, and we're gonna pick a few cards. I'm just gonna shuffle them really quickly because I did shuffle them before, but I'm just gonna shuffle them again. Gosh, I get so excited. I almost like get out of breath. Okay, so we pick card number 1. We have the 2 of Swords, guys. So what does this have to do with money? And I will be honest, I am pretty new to like reading tarot in regards to specific situations. I read more of the energy of the cards, but I see here that for those who pick the Seers Tarot, the 2 of Swords, so here the swords are like symbolic of the 2 crows because there are no swords actually depicted in this tarot card. But swords is the area of the mind and the will and the like plans that you have in regards to a certain situation, the ones that you make in your mind. So before they come to fruition, they are in your mind. And this person is being kind of like wrapped up by the crows. You see, she's blindfolded, but it's kind of like the crows are playing sort of like a trick on her where they're wrapping her up. And remember, the swords here, they're depicted by the crows because the crows, they fly, right? So they're like air creatures. So since the sword suit symbolizes the element of air, we see the crows are kind of wrapping her head up and she's blindfolded. So I feel like in regards to money, those who pick the Seers Tarot, this is starting off by telling me that you are very uncertain right now of your situation. You can't see what your money situation is going to be like, but the crows are going round and round her with their cords here. So it's kind of like telling me that you are kind of driving yourself into like a spiral thinking about money. And that's something that I've been doing a lot lately too. So don't feel bad about that. Money is a very important thing for us to live. And so if you feel like you are driving yourself into kind of like a tizzy thinking about your money situation, just remember that she's blindfolded. So it's not really her fault that she can't see, because she has a blindfold on her eyes. So this card is telling me that if you picked the Light Seers Tarot, you can quite certainly know that right now you need to just wait until either something happens for you to be able to see your situation more clearly, or also you could just kind of like write a budget, so kind of get an idea of what's going on with your money situation, so that you're not so much walking in the dark or being like tied up by all these thoughts and not going anywhere. And just kind of like, she's kind of like trying to shoo like whatever is around her. She's got her arms up like she's trying to somehow shoo the birds away, or shoot like get out of the tangle of the webs. So yeah, this is an interesting card because the Two of Swords, and it's also like, two is also, as we know, symbolic of balance, but she could fall down, right? Because she can't see, and it's almost like she could be going in circles and she could get dizzy and fall down. So it is about balance, but it's also about knowing when to take those ideas about money and get them down so that you can see them in a concrete way. So I would definitely say that if you picked the Light Seers Tarot deck, the tarot deck, the Light Seers Tarot, which is this one, that you definitely, I would say, Divine is telling me to write out a budget and see what your income is and see what your bills are, and try to get like more of a handle on those things in order to see more clearly. So that was the Two of Swords, and I'm going to draw another card from the Light Seers Tarot. Yeah, so you pick this deck. We're going to go ahead and draw another card. I'm just going to pick randomly here. So we're going to get, we have seven, the Chariot. So the Chariot is also linked to the astrological sign of Cancer. So it's a very, like, Cancer is ruled by the moon. Is it ruled by the moon? I'm pretty sure it's ruled by the moon, but if it's not, I'll edit this out for sure. But the Chariot is like telling me that you're moving forward. Once you start to get these things down on paper, you will be moving forward more quickly. And yeah. So he's still kind of doing a balancing act though on top of the cart that the horses are pulling. So the fact of the matter is, it could be that even when you write these things down, it doesn't mean that your money issues or your money concerns are finished, right? Because you still are living your life, and you're still you know, nothing is perfect yet. You're still in the beginnings of starting to make a plan for your money. So you are still going to be balancing, but you're going to be moving forward as well, as the Chariot is what that is what the Chariot is depicting. Okay, the next card we have for you guys who picked the Light Seers Tarot is the Ten of Swords. So again, like we had, the first card that we had for you guys was the Two of Swords here, and then we had the Chariot, and now we have the Ten of Swords. So again, we have those crows, but this time we have 10 crows symbolizing the element of air and the suit of swords. But you see how now this individual who's depicted on the card is free. Like she's not, you see there's like a sunrise coming up, or you know, her situation has been lit up, and she is no longer in like in an argument, in a disagreement, in a fight, in a battle against those crows. Those crows, like, they've multiplied, kind of like telling me that instead of fighting with money, if you get yourself like going with a budget and writing down your income and your expenses, how like your money will seem like it's so much more abundant, because you will be getting track of your spending habits. You will be seeing what you no longer need to spend money on. Let's say whatever kind of memberships you have that you don't need anymore. Let's say a gym membership or whatever. Maybe you've learned how to do your exercises outside now that COVID has been happening and the gyms have been closed. So you'll realize that like maybe you no longer need that Netflix membership, or Maybe you've learned to do art instead of watch TV all the time, but basically you will have gotten your finances together when all this is over, and you will be free. You'll feel more free in regards to money. And the sun will have come up on over the horizon for you to be able to see more clearly and to feel like a new day is dawning as far as your money habits goes. So it's constantly going to be sort of like an issue where you will have to, write down a budget more than once. But once you kind of get into that habit of being aware of where your money is going and how much money you're getting in order to spend the certain amounts of money that you're spending, that you will definitely feel more free in regards to money. So that was the third card. And yeah. And I'm going to read another card. The next card we have is the Ten of Pentacles. So Pentacles is actually a suit that symbolizes material gain. So I would say that when you have your freedom in regards to money, because you've been trapped up, you're starting to move forward by making a plan in regards to money. You're starting to feel more free in regards to money and not so in like a trap of money. And then all of a sudden what happens is that you have the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles here is symbolizing like unity in a home. You see, we have kids, we have like a man, we have a woman, and we have a dog there. So this could be like your family situation. So perhaps you're thinking about like how are you going to balance your money out in regards to your family. But this is a card to tell me that once you are done getting all that stuff in order, that you will be abundant in your money situation, and you will learn how to balance all those things in order to live a happy life. So those were your 4 cards. And we started from this one where we had the disagreement and the uncertainty. Then we started moving forward, but still having to balance on top of the Chariot, but starting to move forward as we make a plan, starting to feel more comfortable in our money situation, and starting to feel more free and abundant with more money coming in. And then being able to, whether or not you have more money coming in, to be able to feel like you are having more money coming in, because you are able to balance out the Pentacles, the symbol of wealth and material possessions, and feeling at peace with your situation in the end in regards to money. So for those of you who picked the Light Seers Tarot, that was your reading on money. And I'll see you in my next video. And I hope you enjoyed that reading. Subscribe if you feel like you want to see more videos by me, Mo Moon. And if you liked the video, please click the like button. And if you want to leave a comment as to whether or not this was helpful, or if it resonated with you, please go ahead. See you soon. Hi guys. So for those of you who chose the Liber-T Tarot, this is going to be your reading in regards to money. So this is the Tarot of Stars Eternal, and as you see, the art is going to be a little bit more geometrical and stuff like that. So that's the Liber-T Tarot, and this is your reading for the energies surrounding your money situation right now. So I hope you've been enjoying yourself today, and hope you've been keeping safe. And so let's go ahead and read what the energies and divine has to say about the money situations for those who picked the Liber-T Tarot. So the first card we have is the Prince of Spheres. Okay, so the Prince of Spheres. So we have a gentleman. He's a prince, and the spheres are representative of pentacles in the suits. So this kind of reminds me of Aries, and actually there is an Aries sign up here. So that's actually a sign of like somebody who is a go-getter, and this is the Prince of Spheres. So he isn't the King of Spheres, but he's like in the running to be king next, right? Because if his father's the king and he's the prince, and then when his father passes away, he will be the king. So perhaps this is something that you can relate to in the fact that here we have the earth symbol, and I believe this is the air symbol. So, and like there's a bunch of different, this is Taurus, Aries, I can't really see the other ones. Oh, there's the moon, I think that's Saturn. So we have a lot going on here. And then there's like, this is like a geometrical shape of like two ovals interlapping themselves. So I see that this has got a lot of different aspects to it, but we do know from the title, the Prince of Spheres, that you have a pretty good, like also the fact that he's sitting on top of the bull. The bull is possibly symbolic of money going out. So if I was saying that the bull was the subject of money and the prince is sitting on top of the bull, I would say that perhaps you're very careful with your money. You're very careful with your money and you don't spend it frivolously, which is very good. But I get the impression that you still want more money. So maybe you're just, sorry about that, something fell down in the bathroom. So maybe what you're doing right now is you're sitting on your money. Perhaps you have money in the stocks, or, maybe you've invested your money into a business and now you're watching to see your money grow. But Divine is telling me that you need to let go a little bit, because you're not the one in charge, it's the king in charge. So when I say the king, I mean like divine and your intuition. So I'm getting the impression that you need to connect with the divine source of your intuition. And when I say your intuition, I'm thinking about your mind, because I feel like this card is telling me that you do have a good grasp on like budgeting and your money and stuff like that, but you're kind of acting a little bit like a Scrooge, where you're very much like focusing on every single penny. And yes, it's good to be a good steward of your money, but you need to remember that in order to increase the energy that will be coming in, the energy of the money that will be coming in, sometimes you have to let a little bit of that energy of the money go out. So you do have to invest in certain things in order to see that investment come back to you. So that's the first card for those of you who picked the Liber-T Tarot. So it was the Prince of Spheres. And the spheres are symbolic of pentacles. So that's like the material things of this world, right? The next card we have is the Eight of Cups. So here we see that there's some more hieroglyphics of astrological symbols. Pardon me if I don't know all the hieroglyphics, but I am able to read the cards based on Divine's explanation of the pictures to me. So here we have one person pulling, and he going forward and pulling forward with his back to pull things into his life. And here we have one girl pulling as well, but she's pulling from the front, and they're gonna hit each other. You see, she's pulling backwards and he's pulling forwards, but he's looking down and she's not even looking. And then we have like these two individuals down here who aren't even paying attention either. But then we have this big, like God type figure up here. And Divine is telling me that just based on that I just told you, Divine is watching your every move. But I think this message is to tell you that if you don't start to pay more attention to your attitude towards money, which is symbolized by the cups, right? The emotions, and you have 8 cups here. And if I'm looking clearly, you have 3 empty cups up top, and then you have 2 cups that are overflowing, and 2 of the cups are overflowing into 2 other cups, both on opposite ends, and this cup in the middle is empty. So this card of cups, the 8 of Cups, is showing me that you have 2 cups overflowing for sure, but you also have the other 3 on the top and the other 3 on the bottom. So you have 6 cups that are empty. So what divine is telling me through this card is that you're becoming so attached to being aware of your situation of money and making sure that you don't let go of anything as far as money goes, but you're also having a lot of areas in your life symbolic of different emotions where you're feeling a little bit empty, just like these empty cups here. So there's 6 empty cups and there's only 2 cups that are overflowing. So the 2 cups that are full of the emotion, maybe you feel an emotion of pride because you're able to be so good with your money. So maybe that cup is overflowing because you're very proud of yourself. And it is a good thing to be proud of yourself if you're able to take the reins of your money and but you're working too hard. You're working too hard. Both of these people here, both your masculine and your feminine energy, whether you be a male or a female, here we see both depictions. They're working way too hard to make sure that their money stays in their bank account and to make sure that they still get more money coming in. And I know these are hard times for sure. But just be aware that if you're feeling empty in any situation in your life, it could be as a result of the fact that you're working too hard in regards to being like a Scrooge. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because yes, Scrooge did have to change in the video where Scrooge was counting his money and he didn't want to give anything away. And I'm not saying that you're selfish, because you're not, because these are difficult times, but just loosen your grip a little bit is what I'm trying to say. That divine is telling me to tell you just to loosen your grip just a little bit and let that energy sort of flow out so that it can come back to you more easily. And just know that divine is watching over you, and that yes, you've been very careful up until this point, and it's all you who's done the work. You've done the work to make the money that you're making and to be where you are in life for sure, but you also have to be grateful. And the divine being here is there because he's symbolizing black and white, because it's all aspects. It's from one spectrum to the other, that you have to be well aware of your physical like this, the Prince of Coins, you're well aware of your physical material things, but you also have to be balancing that out with your emotions and not feeling like you're tied down to these physical things that you have, and that you can't experience the joy of giving, or giving freely without feeling like you're losing in the long run. So the next card we have is the 8 of Scepters, and that's another card symbolic of work. The scepters are like the wands, and there's 8 of them. There's 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and one that equals 2 in the middle there. So what I'm getting from this card is that you are aware of your spiritual situation right now, of your emotions, and you will transcend that. And like, remember how the rainbow symbolizes right now everything is going to be okay. So this is telling me that yes, I'm kind of having a hissy fit when it comes to expressing divine to you, but this is just the card to give you peace. Like, after a storm comes a rainbow, and you see there's all kinds of like a web of like astrological stars and stuff, and like everything is circling, and to me this symbolizes divine, and everything is circling around the divine, and this is you in touch with that divine source, that spiritual self. So you're not a bad person because you want to be careful with your money. I would say that divine has your back, and as long as you know that money is not everything that you are not what you own, and you are not how much money you have in your bank account. You're special just because you're a part of the divine and you're part of the human race. So in regards to money, I would say that card is showing me that you will be in harmony and in balance with the energy of the money that you have, and with energy of the flow of money that's coming in and going out in your life. The next card we have is the Knight of Cups. And you see it's a person right there, and actually it's the knight, and he has wings. He has wings, and that is a horse that he's on, and he has a platter with a crab, and that kind of reminds me of Cancer too. And Cancer reminds me of a very like emotional, but also very like in touch with their emotions and in touch with how other people feel, a very intuitive card. So as in regards to money, because I have to keep the idea of money here, right? And maybe what this card is telling me is that you don't You don't care about money. To you, money is not who you are or your worth. But I think that Divine is telling me now that if you've listened to this whole message, if you pick the Liber-T Tarot in regards to money, I think that this card is telling me that you are in control of what's going on right now. This is your life, and Divine is telling me that you may have been in one extreme at some point, like about money, but you've become enlightened, like this card is saying, and now you are the Knight of Cups. So you are in touch with your emotions, and there is no extreme of any kind. You are well aware that money is an energy. It flows out and it flows in, and what you put out, with the energy that you put out into the universe, will come back to you threefold. So this is telling me that you don't have to worry, that as long as you're following, you know, the seat of your will. So like, as long as you're following what you believe and not taking it to one extreme or the other, meaning like not taking it to being selfish or feeling like you're nothing and that money doesn't even matter either because you're nothing. That's taking it to one extreme or the other. So one extreme is telling me that you think you are how much money you have in your bank account, and the other extreme is telling me that you're like, who cares if I have all this money? I'm nobody anyway. But this card is telling me with the crab that the crabs can get pushed up onto the seashore with the waves, but you have to think that instead of being pushed with the waves or by anybody giving you advice like me, like I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that, but you're like a crab who is aware of the fact that the tide can take him too far up onto the seashore where he'll get stuck. So when we're talking about the extremes, whether the extreme selfishness and the extreme ego or the extreme lack of worth, that's just the Divine telling me to be very careful about your money situation and to remember that you aren't the things that you own. And that's in regards to money. So those were your cards. So for those who picked the Liber-T Tarot, that's the first time I'm reading with that deck. It's a really, as you see, it's kind of like a difficult deck to kind of get a hold of. And I still have a lot of learning when it comes to astrological signs and stuff like that. But I am learning, and I hope that video wasn't upsetting in any way, because it was only meant to shed some light on your worth and the fact that, yes, you are good with your money, but don't think that that's all you are. That's not all you are. You're good with so many things. If you're good with your money, that means you're a good planner. It means that you're a good planner. You're a good steward of the things that you own, and you are careful in the steps that you take. So this is a message for you in regards to money, saying that you're on the right track. You're on the right track, and just keep paying attention just as you have been. So I hope you enjoyed that reading for those of you who picked the Liber-T Tarot, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Hi guys, so for those of you who picked the Haindl Tarot, this was the box, and this is your reading in regards to money and your mindset around money at this point, at least, or whenever you're watching this video. It's just a way to kind of show you maybe what your money mindset is right now, and to kind of give you a little bit of guidance, whether in one direction or the other, or whether you're doing all right already. Chances are you probably are, but just to kind of give you a little bit of light on some issues that can come up in regards to money. So for those of you who picked the Haindl Tarot, this is your money reading. Okay guys, the first card we're starting off from the Haindl Tarot is Fortune, so the 9 of Cups. You see here there's a 9. This is some Chinese symbol which I'm not aware of yet, but there's enough to go here and read without having to read every single detail. There is a crack in the stone. This is a big stone, and there's a crack in the stone where money is Well, this is symbolic of money. So money is flowing into that cup here. And it says fortune on it. So I guess that's a good start for you if you're thinking about money, because somehow something will open up for you to receive a blessing of money. So that's a really good thing. And I think the next step for you to take in regards to this is to see that this cup will start overflowing and you've got 8 other cups to start filling up. So that means that if you're very careful about how you play your cards, you will have a large blessing coming your way in regards to money. And you just have to make sure that you keep putting your energy into getting that water that symbolizes money. So this cup will start to overflow eventually, because you see there's a large rush of water coming down. And also the cups are symbolic of emotions. So this could mean that you're going to be so grateful. You're either going to be very grateful for your money, or you're going to be very like questioning, like, do I deserve this? But the chances are that if you are going to receive this abundance, that you've been preparing for this. You've been preparing for this receiving of all that abundance of monetary, like, money. So you're just ready. You have a lot of opportunity to be grateful, because I see these 8 other cups, and I see that these 8 other cups are symbolic of how grateful you will be, because the cups are the symbol of emotions. In the 4 suits, the cups are symbolic of emotions and desires. So you are going to be ready for this fortune that's going to come in regards to money. And for those of you who picked the Haindl Tarot, we're going to go on to the second card. So fortune, that's a good card to start with. I mean, hey, I wish that was my card. Just joking. I am waiting for my fortune, but we'll see when it comes, working on it. So the second card we have is the 6 of Swords, and it says science. Science on the bottom. So perhaps, I mean, if this has something to do with science, maybe you are in that field where you are somebody who does work very methodically, and the swords are symbolic of the mind. So I see from this card that maybe you're not a scientist per se, but you are very methodical in your working. So that would make sense if you're going to be receiving such an abundance of money, because perhaps you're working on something that you have been working on very methodically for a long time, and it looks like it's going to come through with this abundance coming through in the fortune card. Yeah. And I see also, like, a tree without leaves on it. So maybe before this abundance comes in, perhaps you're really, really waiting for this to happen, because maybe, like, this tree is bare. You've kind of been living on the bare minimum. And I would encourage you to hold on, because as we saw in this fortune card, the first card you drew, something good is coming your way monetarily. So through money. And there is like a little figure in the clouds, and that's just to remind you that the divine is telling me that it's all in perfect timing, and that all this will happen in perfect timing. And so even if it doesn't happen today or tomorrow, just wait for it, because it will come. You just have to keep having faith that you're working very, very hard and very methodically, and that all your plans are going to come to fruition. So we have the Sun card as the third card. So I'm learning that the Sun is somehow symbolic with the astrological sign Leo, and Leo is a very charismatic and people person. So this isn't to say that you're necessarily a Leo sign person, but this is showing me that you do bring a lot of joy to people's lives. So whatever that you have been working on very methodically with the 6 of Swords, and the abundance that you will be receiving with the 9 of Cups, this has something to do with the fact that you've been very, very life-giving to people. So in that sense, what I mean is that you're going to be receiving this money because you're working hard, yes, but also because you're giving back by giving people a lot of love and light, and like allowing people to bloom through your light. So to me, this symbolizes you, the sun, and this flower symbolizes the work that you've done in people's lives. So that's the Sun card. And you see in the background, there's like a dark sky. So the sun is gonna like, the sun is like just coming, like either just coming up, and then there's that like the darkness fading behind. So we also have like a very green, backdrop there. There's trees and there's green grass. So everything is coming to life in your sphere of influence. So this to you is telling me, the divine is telling me that you are not someone who necessarily is doing this for the monetary gain or for the money that you will be receiving, although you do deserve it because you have been working hard and you have been bringing a lot of blessing to people's lives through your hard work. So just to let you know, divine is telling you that when you do receive that abundance, like this 9 of Cups and the abundance of money coming into your life through that crack in the wall that you thought would never break down, just remember that you are deserving of all that abundance that you will be receiving money-wise. Okay. All right. And the last card we have for you guys is Alchemy. So it's card number 14. Alchemy. I don't know if this is the Temperance card, 14. I'm not quite sure, but to me, this does somehow exude temperance to me, which is a balance. And alchemy is like a science, because you did have the Science card here with the 6 of Swords. It said science, but I also see alchemy, and alchemy is sort of like a science in my idea, but it's also somehow magical. So this is just telling me that divine wants me to let you know that as you see like the moon here, and yeah, there's a moon down there, and there's a little devil head here with like horns, and there's another face here, a red face, and there's another moon here. So I'm getting a lot of like shadow, like you see like red, which could symbolize the sun, and then blue, which could symbolizes the moon. And then when we have alchemy, it makes me remember, divine is telling me to remember that alchemy is very balanced, just like the Science card that you had. So alchemy is more like magic in my books, but you had the Science card. So this is telling me that you are not too woo-woo, okay? Whatever you're doing, where you will be receiving that abundance, breaking through the rock where you didn't expect it, and receiving all that money, you are also, as I said, you are worthy, because you have been doing a lot of good work in people's lives in order to receive that money. And as well, you've been working very methodically, as we got the Science card and the 6 of Swords, which symbolizes the mind. But then you also have alchemy. So alchemy is telling me that the money that you will receive, as you fill up those cups with that money that's coming in, remember that just like when you start a business, and perhaps that's what you're doing, perhaps you're starting some sort of business, like myself with this YouTube channel, hoping that it will grow, just remember that there's also that factor of keeping in touch with all the parts of who you are. So you are not just one part. You're not just a worker. You're not just like a business owner. You're not just like a helper, but you're also a spiritual being, and your work is also giving spiritually to other people, and it's also benefiting them in a very spiritual way. And that's just to say that, again, that you deserve this money that's coming, because you're not just working hard with the things that we can see through science, but you're working hard with the things that we could see in the spiritual realm if we use our third eye. So those were your 4 cards, and I guess it started out by giving you the total outcome of this whole reading was just to say that money is coming your way. So even though this brick wall looks like it's very firm and like nobody could break a hole into it, but like somehow the divine has somehow made an opening in that rock wall, and the abundance is flowing into that cup. So yeah, and since this reading is about money, I take it that abundance, it has to do with monetary gain, so money. So I hope that that reading comes true for you. And if it does, let me know down in the comments. And if you somehow resonate with the reading, I would also appreciate it if you could somehow let me know, or leave me a thumbs up for the video, or even a thumbs down if it's not vibing with you. That's fine with me too. Like, if you think that that's not something that you can apply to your life, give me a thumbs down, but also leave a comment and let me know why you've given me a thumbs down, because I would love to know either good feedback or bad feedback, how I can improve in order to give you exactly what you need. So that was the surprise tarot reading about money and monetary gain. So I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, this is Mo signing off. Peace. Blessed be.